Game number 1, everybody. We are in the next round of our playoff setup here. The playoffs and the grand final will be played today. All of those best of 5 series coming up, and the grand final is even going to be a best of 7. And in our current best of 5, we have nothing left against Granit Gaming, which should actually be a pretty cool series. Nothing left struggled a bit yesterday, but today they're also playing with their full roster. Mopsio is here. To my knowledge, the reason why he was actually not present yesterday and Nothing Left had to play with a sub player was that he was attending a wedding. Not his own wedding, as far as I know, but yeah, attending a wedding nonetheless. So today, in full force, the team starting in red. This is the patch where Blizzard introduced the 10% movement speed on the heroes across the board. So we're going to talk about this a bit later. But since we've already been going over this pretty extensively yesterday, we're probably not going to go too much into detail at this point. So if you haven't really caught up on the tournament just yet, I would recommend that you watch the previous videos first before you have a deeper look at this, especially if you're not quite familiar with the changes of the patch. Either way, well, Skaia Foundry is our first map in this best of 5, and we have an immediate ban against Tracer. So once more, DAB gets targeted in the bans. And yeah, Henning won't be able to get his Tyrande this time. Yeah, they really like to play around their Tyrande style with a quick blow up, and Henning in particular loves to play that hero. So at least today, or at least in this series, he's not going to be able to play that. In addition to this, we're seeing Li Ming banned out, so again everybody is targeting DAB here. We have Vala also banned out, and for everybody that is looking at this and saying like, what the fuck, Vala banned? What's going on there? So Vala got buffed in the recent patch a bit, first of all, and Chen, by the way, also received a few more buffs, which is why he is currently a first pick. So there's a lot of wild stuff happening if you've been absent from heroes for just a week. So Vala is back in the meta. Vala was also played beforehand even, from Granit Gaming occasionally. Tai, really good with the hero, and that's one of the reasons why it gets banned out right away against Granit Gaming. Chen has by now moved into a ban or early pick position, which is also very interesting. Can be quite powerful with the newly found setup here. Originally played mainly by the Russians after the rework, but now after the hero got a few additional buffs in the last patch, a lot of the players have started to go straight into Chen, and he's pretty difficult to handle in a lot of the late game team fights when the triple panda can absolutely rack your backline. That's one of the main reasons why we currently see him being played there. And that's just dirty. Okay, so with the 10% movement speed across the board, plus the additional speed bubble from Zarya, you can imagine how quick some of these heroes are now. Like, they're zipping across the board. You look at them one moment and they're on the left, and you look at them in the next moment and they're attacking the core on the right side. So this is going to be pretty wild. And yeah, right now Zarya and Garrosh. So that particular combo, incredibly powerful. I mean, we've seen this before, where with a speed bubble you enable Garrosh to just walk up to any target and flip it over into the rest of the team. Normally we see that very heavily focused on Battlefield of Eternity, for example, but here in Skaia Foundry, pretty much the same thought process behind it. Nothing Left starting with Hanzo and Malfurion, and I honestly think that the base that Granit Gaming has right now is insane. Especially since Svamgrota is actually a beast on Zarya. He had a few games in Battlefield of Eternity with his team where he just destroyed opponents. And again, you pick Zarya mainly because of the synergy with the rest here. Also would allow you to go into another hyper carry. And Tai, I mean, a lot of the heroes that he usually plays are already banned out, but Zeratul is still open. I don't think we're going to see Zeratul here. Zeratul actually is, for the first time in ages, not banned, and that's not because of the recent patch. The auto attack build that Tai played quite a lot got buffed even, so it's pretty much the Tai patch. But obviously with that heavy of a melee focus, it is very unlikely that we're going to see Zeratul added to the lineup too. But heroes that Tai usually plays, that's Tracer, that's Li Ming, that's Hammer, that's Vala, all of them already banned out. He played quite a bit of Orphea as well, so that's one of the options that they have right now. We've seen him on plenty of heroes, and today it's going to be Greymane, another hero that got buffed in the latest patch. Karazim as the support here. And Greymane has now even more power through the Cursed Bullet. 40% of the hit points are going to be subtracted instead of the 35 previously. And in addition to that, he also hits a little bit harder with auto attacks. Last pick, after we simply Kidney again on Maiev and Mopsio on Diablo, what are we going to see for them to round this draft out and add a bit more damage well, Polypor's probably going to be in the off lane, so he goes for Blaze. We see him blazing it up. Horrible skin, one of the worst skins that you could possibly get for Blaze, but still, I'm happy that we have Blaze again in the game. So, ladies, best setup. Game number 1, well, Skaia Foundry. It's a best of 5 series here at the Division S playoffs. Let's jump straight into our first map. Alright, everybody. Welcome to game number 1 of all Skaia Foundry. And on the left side, we have Granit Gaming with the Henning on Karazim, Tai on Greymane, Svamgrotta on Zarya, Laub on Garrosh, and Fury on Chen. Pretty similar composition actually to what they just played recently in this tournament, but on the right side this time we have in red nothing left with Polypor's on Blaze, Black Kidney on Maiev, Mopsio today on Diablo. They are back with their main tank. We have Linked on Malfurion and DAB, the man himself, on Hanzo in game number 1. Should be a good one. Again, a best of 5. Again in the new patch with a 10% additional movement speed. We're going to talk about this obviously quite a bit and all the changes that came through. We saw the barrel roll in action just yesterday for Chen, who's pretty much a stable force these days in nearly every single composition that we've seen so far. Most of the Chen players still relying, as we said, onto the Storm, Earth and Fire, but the barrel roll was buffed a little bit, or the keg, the Wandering Keg. And yeah, therefore we could see that in action here today once more. But for the time being, all eyes on Svamgrotta, at least to an extent. He plays Zarya again with the Feel the Heat. And that combo that they played in the past with Garrosh after the speed barrier on level 4 is absolutely devastating. It's honestly brutal what he can pull off with it, and they've been incredibly strong with compositions like this. And especially I feel for Tai, it's also super cool that he has now additional support, not only in the form of Greymane here, of Karazim here, but also from Zarya herself. Of course, 1 minute into the game as the turret camp spawn, both of the teams are once more trying to get their first item immediately. We have both of them focusing 2 to 3 heroes immediately onto the camp, stealing it away as fast as they possibly can. And therefore the attention is now on the healing beacon, all the way up to the top, where we are going to have a bit of a look if one of the teams makes the rotation, risks it to go straight for the healing beacon. Already a bit of a throw there against Black Kidney. And it's always a pleasure, honestly, to see Black Kidney on Maiev. He's definitely one of the best Maiev players, or one of the most dangerous, I want to say, that we've seen in Heroes of the Storm. And oftentimes, when teams don't ban Maiev out against him in a game, he very, very quickly persuades them to ban Maiev from there on out for every single remaining game of that series. So we'll see if he is able to pull that off once again. Maiev obviously has in recent times fallen a bit in priority, but there's definitely still teams and players that play extremely well around her. And with everything that they have, the tether into a stun from Blaze, also the roots on the side of Malfurion, there's a lot that you can pull off. Mopsio and his boys eager to go for the item advantage, immediately moving in for our little Gundam here and trying to get that healing beacon. There's the throw against Mopsio. He finds himself isolated and in trouble. Needs to be really careful here. The double tether on the other hand, quickly against Granit Gaming, and the first kill against Zarya. Lauba also a bit isolated and slowed down. They're even dropping Broccoli once more, and that is the double kill. Nothing left, coming out swinging in game number 1 with a quick 2-kill against their opponent. And now they have the healing beacon as well. DAB still holding on to the turret, by the way, so they didn't even sacrifice it during the fight. And that's just fantastic for the red team here. So they're off to a good start for sure. And it's also reflected in the experience lead. And that's oftentimes quite impactful for objective number 1, if you win a fight this decisively before the objective spawns. Because it basically means that you will get level 7 before your opponent does, which then again translates into an advantage on the checkpoint, which can be the first projector for you right away, and obviously that oftentimes is quite impactful for the remainder of the game, since you can prepare the next objective, attack the lane, take the fountain down. This is definitely something that they're going to be looking for. The speed barrier, as expected, has been taken by Zarya now, which obviously means that we could see that aggression on the side of Garrosh. But now with the level 7 talents in play for nothing left, Granit has already fallen back. And they give a huge chunks on the progress bar over to nothing left now, just because they know they can't fight without the additional talent. Mopsio going full on into a Firestorm build so far. The Souls to Flame, first of all on level 4, and then the Internal Flames on level 7 for him. adjustments here now also with the explosive barrier. Very powerful actually with Chen, now with the elusive brawler, starts jumping into the back line, especially with the speed barrier, even without it. But there once again, we're having Lauber trying to make a bit of a play against Diablo here, but he obviously needs to be careful too. If Dibbles flips him over into the rest of the team, especially Malfurion and Root, there's also the potential of Nothing Left taking another kill here. And Granit, they have to be cautious with the poke now. They're also far behind, 97% against 0. They need to poke into this, and Lauber is looking for victims. He's looking for targets, and it feels like they're gonna let this one go. Tai is already active on the camp down here at the bottom with Greymane, putting all of that Worgen power to some good use, and they're able to pull it off. But now we're having in the middle of the map, Nothing Left already breaking through the wall and starting the traditional transition all the way up to the top. The solo laners have claimed the bottom of the map again, with nearly a level lead already on the side of Nothing Left. They're still looking powerful here. And now at the top side, we're seeing the Protector pretty much without any pressure whatsoever, going for the Fountain and about to take it down, dropping one of the turrets too. Fountain extremely low, but they move away for now. Very sure that they're going to get it eventually. A 4 versus 3 now at the top, but Hanzo is starting to rotate in now too. Blake Kidney, on the other hand, is already low and trying to escape here. Hanzo comes in, and immediately Granit Gaming is backing off for the time being. Now, Nothing Left hasn't been able to take the Fountain down, but with this many HP already lost, it's pretty fair to say that there's a good chance for Nothing Left to grab it whenever they want. There's another healing beacon on the map now too, and as long as they guard the camp until they themselves have level 10, that shouldn't be a problem for them either. Another attempt for Blikitny, jumps out, nicely done by him. Svamkrota is moving in as well. They're trying to force the fight before level 10, but they have to be cautious. Nothing Left is nearly done with the rogue abilities. Already Lauber moving in here, Pody Boss, nice, indomitable use by Lauber. And they're able to fall back. But the level 10s, they're going to be there. They will be available for nearly an entire level for Nothing Left. Already at the top, they're trying for a bit of aggression here. Mopsio with Diablo has, of course, especially after level 16, insane one-shot potential when he is able to get those stuns into the walls in. With level 10, there's obviously no reason for them not to get that healing beacon. I mean, like, duh. And now we have the cage, the lightning breath on Malfurion's side, the arrow, the bunker, and the Twilight Dream. They go full on for the combo here. Whereas we still have a potential for a flip into a 7-sided strike later on, by the way. Granit Gaming could try and pull it off. If they're heading into a fight with a good Garrosh flip, they can always try and get a Cursed Bullet and a 7-sided in. That's a lot of damage, again, especially percentage damage, against Mopsio. So Diablo needs to be very, very careful here. The bullet is already in. Oh, and there's the 7-sided, and that's an easy and quick kill against Diablo. Easy peasy, and Blake Kidney would have been the next target, but moved away. But this is exactly what Granit needs to do here. So the early game definitely belonged to their opponent. Nothing Left. They had quite a bit left in the early stages of the game. Question is just now how much remains as we are heading into the mid and late game for them now. Because Granit Gaming, they have definitely solidified the foundation on which they're building here now. We're having the combo online, and that's not what they have to try and use. Storm Earth and Fire is also ready. He's going to use that soon. Here comes the Twilight Dream. Nicely done. Blikitny's in trouble, though. Lightning Breath comes out. The bunker with a save, but Blikitny is low and tries to jump out. The triple panda action. It's a full bloodbath. A massive brawl, and Blikitny goes down. Everybody on the blue team is low. Lauber is nearly dying, but instead Blaze and Diablo bite the dust. Lauber finally falls, but this is still a 1-for-4 trade, and Granit Gaming, oh my god. After in the early game they were pretty much chased around by their opponent, now all of a sudden we're having them coming on strong with level 10 abilities and dominating that last fight. The triple pandas in particular turning that into a numbers game, and it honestly felt as if Granit Gaming would be losing several heroes here, but then Blaze falls, Maiev dies, Diablo follows shortly after. They aren't able to save Lauber, but let's face it, there was a fantastic trade here. Nicely done also by Garrosh with a fantastic taunt there. Now we're looking at elite in experience all of a sudden for Granit Gaming. Yeah, and up towards the top in this first game of the best of 5 series. Nothing Left is still trying to go straight in for the beacon. Now the fountain has been taken out. So despite the fact that we have a slight experience lead for Granit Gaming, let's not forget that Nothing Left still has a full fort here with the fountain and therefore a bit of an advantage. But the problem is the bullet and the 7-sided combo. And just as Diablo tries to move back, Granit Gaming catches another fish out of water and take Dibbles down. That's a quick kill there. And now we have 6 kills against 3. Granit Gaming is just stomping all over Nothing Left at this point. And, well, this is starting to become a bit problematic. Honestly, Nothing Left have to find an answer to that combo. They need to somehow screw with it a little bit. Either try and get an arrow through from Hanzo to interrupt part of the combo, make sure that the bunker is there so that Dibbles or whoever gets thrown in can escape, or somehow else keep him alive. Because once that the combo is actually used, there's a lot of cooldowns on play with this. And once that's the case, then it's going to be a lot harder for Granit Gaming to get these kills. Maybe a counter kill also would just do the trick here, but it just feels like Granit Gaming can take that kill whenever they want to. They have the big lead now on the checkpoint, but so far Nothing Left hasn't given up yet. Nothing Left looks at this and says like, boys, we can still make this happen. Here comes the Enough to Share now on level 13. We're also getting the synergy with the level 7 talent. The unstoppable competitor. Makes unsold for up to 2 seconds, so pretty powerful against what we're having on the other side here. Once again, bunker on the ground. Here comes also the expulsion zone. They're trying to make the play here. The damage and the kill against Malfurion. They're trying to turn it around though, and the lightning breath against the pandas does wonders here. Nice attempt, at least by Karazim, to stay alive here with a real nice 7-sider, putting himself out of play for just a second, and can then jump out again. But at the end of the fight, there's still a kill on the board for Granit Gaming, and Nothing Left have lost another position. Mopsio gets taunted, and Dibbles is down. Lord of Terror, my ass. If anything, he's terrified. That's what's currently happening with Diablo here. He would try and run to Mama if he could, but in this case, he's just getting controlled into battle time after time again. And there's no Lord of Terror to be seen, at least not so far. 8 kills against 3, an entire level lead, are now putting Granit Gaming fairly ahead in this. As an attempt for the turret. But guess what? Fury is already on the way. The Panda is in play and says like, thank you boys for doing all the hard work here, but I'll take it from here. Gets thrown out though. Lauber? We're trying to take the item, but they decided against it. Not everybody rotated in. There was also the Protector still there. But at least it was a bit of a scare for Nothing Left. But now the question, of course, how much can you do with the Protector? And interestingly enough, we're seeing the Protector busying itself now in the middle. It's not really the rotation that you would normally see, so it feels like the Protector just moved into the middle to get a bit closer to the rest of the team. Also in hopes of maybe contributing to a fight over the turret camp, what it looked like. And now, since they realize that it's not quite happening, they're actually moving instead to the bot lane to prepare for objective number 3, up to the top and take the fountain down there. So not really a lot that has been achieved with the Protector so far. I mean, they get us some additional pressure currently through the middle and also down here at the bottom of the map, but most of the experience still gets soaked by Nothing Left, as they have a hero on every single lane. The Protector now a bit more ballsy as it's trying to go straight for the fort. And to be absolutely honest with you, that should, well, if not fall, then at least be damaged enough that they can get that kill later. But now when we're looking down at the bottom, the big arrow attempt by DAB missing out though, but the cage at least connecting, and the tether is into a lot of heroics on the other hand, used by Nothing Left already. And there's the kill against Scarosh. They're able to make it happen, and now it's Panda time. They're trying to roast the Panda, and Chen is about to go down, tries to hop away just one more time in order to get a little bit of time to get the Storm Earth and Fire through, and that ain't happening. So the Panda is down, and in addition to that, Nothing Left is with 4-man, 5-man at the bottom of the map, and it's going straight for the bottom fort, which means they're prepping for objective number 3. What's happening here? Seriously. Nothing Left starts the game off with a double kill, looking solid in objective number 1. Then all of a sudden, after level 10 is there, it feels like Granit Gaming can pick the kills wherever they want them. And now with this simple rotation and 2 kills against Garrosh and the Panda, we're having a fort destroyed. The first one, by the way, in the game. Just to highlight that again. The first one in the game itself. And yeah, they nearly have a lead here. I mean, they already do have a lead when it comes to items. They hold a double turret now, and they're looking for the healing beacon. They have the advantageous position on the bottom of the map. So it's a really nice setup that we're currently seeing here for Nothing Left, despite how all of this turned out after level 10. It's an interesting setup, to be honest with you. 40,000 damage, by the way, on Greymane up to this point. 35,000 for Hanzo. So Tai definitely feeling the wolf. Feeling the badass Worgen right there. Our little werewolf is doing some solid work. 30,000 damage for Zarya too. Zarya with the field of heat. Again, the combo. They're going for Lulba. And Garrosh 7-sided against Pori. Very few items dropped so far. But Garrosh is down. The man with the underbite eliminated here. And they're looking for more kills than that. They're trying to chase the pandas down, but they only get the tether against 1, and Fury is still able to move away from it. But now we look at 6 kills against 8, and all of a sudden even experience. And probably soon also a lead for Nothing Left, because, well, their passive experience is obviously increasing at this point, since they already have the fort eliminated at the bot lane. And you can already guess what's going to happen to the fort at the top. That one's going to fall too. So that passive experience that we're seeing here is soon going to increase even more. Nicely done. That's good experience soaking here from especially Blaze. Has been holding that offlane for a long time. In terms of mercenaries, also Nothing Left with a bit of a better job, simply because they were able to get those healing beacons multiple times now. And they have started to take a slight lead. And honestly, that bottom position that I've been talking about for quite some time now is a really good one. In 30 seconds, they will still be able to tap at the fountain while their opponent has to go for a bit of a Hail Mary pass going into that fight. Also, with experience as it stands now, that's a pretty good chance that one of the teams is going to reach level 20 around the objective phase here. But the bot lane gets already pressured. And the item advantage that we have from Nothing Left is quite solid. I mean, they honestly have a lot to bring into the fight here. We're talking about multiple turrets, and in addition to that, also the healing beacon. And yep, it's going to be a 19 versus 19 fight. Pori Boss is already in position. And of course, it's now up to Granit Gaming to try and find an answer to this. The timings have been sniffed out a bit better with a 10% movement speed across the board. Lauba still in this case missed the stun, and Lauba is in trouble. And Lauba goes down, and that's a quick kill against him. And the cage is already on the ground. This time the arrow hits at least the pandas. They're trying to go for Karazim, who was also affected by it. And that's the end of the support. And the fight isn't over yet by any means either. At least the counter kill against Hanzo. But it seems like Chen is going to get punished for this one. Gets slammed into a wall and dies too. Their counter kill against Maiev though. Holy shit, there's at least another Zarya that goes down there trying to make the play for Tai. And they are going to get him too. Broccoli wants a piece of the action as well, as the vengeful root gets dropped. And now we have 11 kills against 10. Level 20 against 19. Nothing left. Look at that. Fortified bunker. They have Dibbles on the point. Trying to get a bit more here. And obviously they're already working on the wall itself. I mean, they lost 2 heroes. There was no real chance for them to go for the core just yet, or to break through that fort. Through the wall, then go straight for the keep. The damage dealers are gone, at least 2 of them. But they can prep at least the wall a little bit, take down another one of those minions. They're falling back quickly as they see that Garrosh is back, not risking anything here. But they're still trying to go for the camp, and I'm not quite sure if that's really the smartest choice, to be absolutely honest with you, because, well, 2 heroes are back. One of them is the 7-sided Karazim, and now we're having Chen also back on the board. So they're abandoning the position here and give the turret up. And as silly as that may seem, I honestly think that was the best play they could make here. Now, Mobsio rotated over a bit, which lost them some points on the progress bar. Now, I don't think that's necessarily too much of a problem. It's 20 versus 20 now, though, and they will win the Protector. The only question that remains is really how much can Nothing Left do with this now? We have a full 5 versus 5 back on the map. Both of the teams have now their Storm Talents, which actually gives us the Death Wish here for Lauba. And, well, it seems like Mobsio might have a Death Wish there. Already used a lot of terror to stay alive, and they get the kill against him anyways. They get the kill against Maiev, and they're wrecking Blaze, and all of a sudden the only thing that remains is the Protector himself. And as we're looking at the pilots here, Malfuri and Hanzo, they're just trying to get the hell out of dodge. And for good reason. Hanzo to Malfurion, get the fuck out of here! And yeah, Malfurion just wants to know where to the chopper. Hanzo also dead. Yeah, sorry, my Ani impression is actually horrible. But Hanzo's trying to move away and he can't make that either. So yep, Hanzo's dead too. And that was a quad kill. Like, what the hell, guys? What just happened? They won the 3rd Protector and they literally got nothing out of it. Instead, Granit Gaming jumped in and just crapped all over the place. So now we have 14 kills against 11. The Protector is, by the way, still alive, but has been abandoned at the bot lane. Malfurion just said, I don't know how to pilot that thing. I grew up in the forest. I was dancing with trees and hugging them all day long. What do I know of technology? So, yep, he had absolutely no idea whatsoever how to deal with that and abandoned it quite quickly. And now we have a keep down. And the keep has fallen on the side of nothing left. So they won Protector number 3 and then they lost the keep. Not how that usually goes. But I'm not going to complain here because this game has been all over the place now. I gotta admit that there's also quite a bit of value that has been gotten by the Death Wish for Lauber during that last fight. Not a talent on level 20 that you see a whole lot, but that cooldown reduction was honestly quite helpful. There were a lot of taunts coming through there. These stacked kills that we saw were pretty cool. It's interesting to also, instead of Hellgate or other shenanigans, to see the Lord of Terror right now. But it kind of makes a little bit of sense at least. I mean, as I said before, the whole problem for Dibbles is that he gets quickly isolated by Garrosh, and then Seven-Sided and Cursed Bullet take him apart. If he is actually able to steal a little bit of those hit points, and then just survive through the combo, there's a very nice chance for them to get solid damage throughout the team fight and then win it in the end. 60,000 damage by now also for Greymane, who by the way takes in addition to the top numbers on the hero damage, also the top numbers when it comes to the siege damage. Single kill against Tai is all that they could pull off so far. It's all about the item control again. We're 20 minutes already into game number 1 of this best of 5 at the Division S playoffs in Europe. But all eyes are, of course, on the 4th Protector. But it's all about trying to get kills here and trying to get items. We have 1 turret and 1 healing beacon on one side, double turret on the other. Let's see how long it takes for the Protector to come back. Shouldn't really play a role anytime soon in this. Maybe we could see a play for it later on, but 2 minutes is nothing to sneeze on here. That's going to take quite some time for it to come back. 2 minutes to be exact. Fury dealing with the bot lane. And obviously the push through the middle is not something that is too much of a lead right now. The only thing that you really have to be careful at this point is Granit Gaming can't get the isolation again. That's important for nothing left. Stay safe, stay together, try and find a good angle for the fight. Granit Gaming on the other hand, they obviously want to see if they can maybe get another isolation like this one, and that's a kill! Maiev goes down, nice move by Lauber, goes in, has also his ult reset thanks to level 20 talent, the Death Wish once again coming into play, and that's a quick kill. Maiev is down for another 50 seconds, which gives right now Granit Gaming map control. Now the only thing that Nothing Left has to do is back the hell off, make sure that there's not a second throw, not a second kill, because as long as they can save the day for Maiev to come back, it's fine. I mean, let's not forget, the objective isn't up yet. But Granit Gaming is saying, you know what, boys, let's see if we can maybe make a play around the core itself. And they're already dropping the turret. They're committed to this. They're really committing to this. Another throw attempt on the side of Garrosh. This time it doesn't work out, but it works out against Diablo. That Ragdoll got its ass kicked. And now we're going straight for the core. All of a sudden, Granit Gaming says, hey boys, we're done with this shit. Let's go for a win in game number 1. 1 Maiev kill, all that they needed. They're trying to take it down now. Let's see if they can actually pull it off. It looks pretty good for them. 50% on the core in game 1. Garrosh is down, but 10%, and that is game. Granit Gaming, in a weird first game against Nothing Left, are able to take the lead on Skaia Foundry. Great play by them. GG and well played by Granit in the first game of the best of 5 here at the Division S Playoffs Europe. Game number 2, everyone. We have Granit Gaming against Nothing Left, and we're looking at Dragonshire as our second map right now. Alright, good to go. And this could be a cool one. It's Granit Gaming's map choice, since Nothing Left, after the loss on map number 1, has opted into picking the first hero and banning the first hero here. So let's have a look of this map turns out in their favor. Now keep in mind that obviously when we talk about Dragonshire, we have to talk about Rek'Sai again. Despite all the patches and everything else that's happening, Rek'Sai is still a force to reckon with on this map, and Nothing Left, they have Boss who loves to play with Rek'Sai. Then again, you have to deal with Chen obviously too, since we saw that in the last match as well. Chen is extremely powerful these days right now, for sure. The rework has already kind of hinted towards that, but it was really the last patch where everybody started to all of a sudden pick Chen on that level. Vala gets banned again. One of her biggest problems was definitely the lack of a solid hit point pool, and after Blizzard banned those, we are now seeing Vala oftentimes banned or picked. At least that was the case on the first day of the playoffs. Chen gets addressed immediately, so that's already one of the off-laners taken out. Urel, also very powerful on the map. You see a lot of Leoric here, and I still expect that in some way or form, either through a ban or a pick, Rexa is going to make an appearance here too. So, what else do you ban out? At this point, you have to also consider Zeratul again. Tai plays it a lot, and despite the cooldown increase on, or that weird cooldown mechanic that we now have on the blink on the wormhole, you have a really powerful hero that especially Tai loves to play, and that particular build that he uses was even buffed a little bit in the last patch. And especially yesterday, Zeratul was pretty much banned out in every single game of the day. So today is the first time that we actually see Zeratul multiple times not addressed at all. We have also Tracer now banned out. Pretty standard against DAB. And there's the Rexa pick immediately, not even like screwing around for a second there, just going in and saying like, alright Rexa, let's go. Let's pick Rexa and let's take it from there. Yeah, the new patch definitely having an impact, as we can see from the bans here, but some things stay the same. Rexa has now been a very stable part of the meta for, I want to say, like half a year roughly. So, pretty impressive to see that. Here comes Hanzo, and we have a Fury on ETC for now. The early ATC pick allows them to shift ETC into a main tank position if they feel that that's something that would benefit them. But you have the option to play ETC on the side lane as well. And Lauber and Fury both can play ETC, and they have made this particular choice quite a lot in the past, just to make sure that they have more flexibility during the rest of the draft, since ETC, in whatever form you play him, has a huge impact thanks to the power slide and also the space that he can create for the backline. Tyrande for linked, and we have Jaina together with that, so we already have the burst damage and the stuns. Misha can stun as well, and that is a really powerful pickup for anybody. They can take a lot of the heroes down quite easily at this point, so that's something that we have to keep in mind there. But let's see what's going to be banned out. There is still... I mean, I would say you could have also leaned towards trying to ban out Li Ming, but obviously with Jaina being picked on the side of nothing left, Li Ming doesn't really fit the bill anymore. Double Mage is incredibly rare. It's pretty much never played. We had 1 or 2 games this Division S season where Washed Up has been leaning towards it, but that's normally not with the Li Ming setup. That's more so other mages that you're really putting in the fray there. Malfurion getting banned out too, so trying to limit the support pool a little bit. Now keep in mind, Rhaegar is still open and quite strong on this map because his lightning shield allows him to take camps in a reasonable time frame. Very few supports can do that. And there's the Zeratul pick together with Abathur. Pretty much as predicted from the start. You don't ban it against Tai, he is going to rip you a new one. Especially if you give his team the chance to go into an Abathur build as well. And yep, that Abathur Zeratul combo is something that Granit Gaming has abused in the past with great success. So let's see if they can still pull this off. Keep that mini delay now in time with the wormhole. So what Blizzard pretty much tried to do is to shut down the build where you go full cleave. Zeratul just jumps in, cleaves jumps out. So it's a little bit more risky to try and make that play. It's still possible, but you are more vulnerable now when your opponent focuses on him immediately. But Tai has been playing this auto attack build a lot with the Might of the Nerazim, and I'm pretty sure that we're going to see a similar style now, especially with the Abathur setup. There's Rhaegar as predicted for the support. On the other side, Greymane again and Mopsy on Johanna. And with this, ladies and gentlemen, we're heading into game number 2. Currently the lead for Granit Gaming. Can they make it a 2-0, or will nothing left be able to tie the series and force game 3 on even footing? We're going to find out right now on Dragonshire. Game number 2, heading on Rhaegar for Granit Gaming. We're having Lauber on ETC, Svamkarota on Hanzo, Tai on Zeratul, and Fury on Abathur. So as already predicted in the draft, they actually switched now ETC from the original off-lane position into the main tank. Fury has switched over to Abathur and is taking now that role. We're seeing on the right side of the map, nothing left with Polyboss on Rexa. We're currently having linked on Tyrande, DAB on Jaina, Blick Kidney on Greymane, and Mopsio on Johanna. Okay, That's Zeratul set up, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Shadow Hunter, this one got actually buffed, so the reward that you get after completing the quest has now been increased. The cooldown reduction from 1 second up to 1.5, so that's definitely something that Tai is very, very happy about. But, as we said before, while there were several elements of Zeratul that got buffed, at the same time Blizzard also tried to shut down that build where you just jump in and after level 7 with the wormhole easily jump out as an early kill already, and yeah, that's exactly what we can expect now from the rest of the game. But as I said, after you blink in, the wormhole reactivation is now slightly delayed, so you're not able to just blink in and immediately blink out again after you drop a quick cleave. So that standard build that we had for a long time is not quite as powerful anymore, and it definitely allows the opponent's team to punish Zeratul when he goes in, which wasn't possible before because nobody has reflexes like that. But as I mentioned several times in today's and yesterday's draft, Tai has not only played that cleave build, he has already for a long time now played that auto attack build with the Might of the Nerazim, with the early focus into the level 1 talent that we're seeing here. So he is definitely quite familiar with this, and this build got a little bit of a buff because that cooldown reduction is going to kick in the later stages. And so far he seems to be pretty much at home on the hero. So definitely something to watch out here. Zeratul has been banned pretty much in every single game against Granit Gaming yesterday for exactly that reason, but obviously Tai will have to adjust his own playing style a little bit as well because of those wormhole changes that we're going to go about later on too. So with a quick kill against Rexxar, we have the early opening here, but again, that wasn't really too impactful. It definitely annoyed Podibos a little bit, but there doesn't really come anything in terms of big consequences out of that. Tai is holding the top lane so far nicely, and obviously with the help of Abathar, he can offset the power level on the lane all the time. This is the big deal when you're actually having an Abathar in your team. You will always be able to offset the balance of power on the solo lane, and this is something that helps him to sustain himself against Rexxar, who left alone is pretty much the best solo laner on Dragonshire for now. Good kill against ETC though. Lauba goes down, and with this we're now also having 4 Abathar, the Adrenal Overlord, so going for the increased attack speed, which is going to benefit Tai even more later on, who's currently fighting to reclaim the position here. One of the main reasons why Rexxar is, by the way, so good on that solo lane is that with Misha and Rexxar, the two attack team, you can hold the position on the shrine and hold experience at the same time. And currently Tai is trying to do the same thing with Abathar, since Abathar is soaking the experience that pushes in here. So pretty much, in order to keep up with Rexxar, we're having Granit Gaming setting 2 heroes onto the lane against him. That is pretty much what we're currently seeing here. And Nothing Left is capitalizing on that lack of an additional body on the map by pushing through the bot lane with the Bruiser camp that they took earlier. And Blinkitney really wants to get the kill here. Greymane, as we said before, he got buffed not only on the ult but also on the auto attacks, and that's something that he brings into play with quick attacks against Svamgrota and Lauba, and they are absolutely dominating them down here. That's a fort going down 3.5 minutes into the game. They're absolutely capitalizing on the fact that Abathar doesn't have his heroic ability yet and can't use the copy. So now we have the early level 7 for Nothing Left and a dominant early game by them. Podibos has to be really careful and still is holding that top lane quite nicely. Abathar is by now even moving into the middle because they realize they have to somehow deal with that onslaught at the bottom of the map. And since we have a 4-man pushing with Greymane, this is incredibly powerful. You set Greymane with those auto attacks in Worgen form up against structures, and he's going to rip through them like hot butter through cheese. There is zero chance to save any of them, and that's why we now have rotations coming even more. Zeratul forced to rotate between the lanes now as well. And on level 7 we now have a wormhole, as you can see right there. But as you can already tell, there's now this slight delay. You have a little bit of a bigger time frame in which you can use your blink, or your wormhole, so that definitely helps. In addition to that, no mule but the wild nest, so the rotations are going to be slowed down by Abathar's toxic nests here. We're seeing also more camps taken. That's true for the right team and also on the left side here. Granit Gaming, they are moving in with Rhaegar, and that lightning shield is one of the reasons why the hero has seen so much play in the last few months on all of these maps where you have a lot of camps, because he's one of the few supports that is able to take these camps solo within a reasonable time frame. I mean, basically every single hero that exists in the game is able to take a camp solo. It's just a question of how long do you need in order to get that camp. But thanks to the Lightning Shield and the Wolf Bite, you have a pretty reasonable time frame, especially if you get a little bit of assistance, in which you can get that with the support compared to others. 9.5, that's when Granit's trying to make a play, and they indeed do. They want to go for Blakitne, but they can't drop the Wolf, but they are able to take down Jaina. Nicely done, and that was an important kill here, and they want more than that even. They're trying to go also for Johanna, not able to pull that off, but now we have level 10, 4-0 left, about to drop. Rexa has rotated down to the bottom of the map. The wave is pushing in soon, and Fury has repositioned himself to body soak the experience with Abathur here. And this is one of the most important things if you're an Abathur player. You are going to try to soak experience with your body whenever possible without exposing yourself too much on the map. And at the same time, you can also soak experience with the symbiote. So there's multiple ways how you can gather XP with that. I mean, in theory, you can even through Toxic Nests get experience, but you always have to get the final hit in against any kind of minion in order to get the experience. Yeah, the same is true for Locusts. So Toxic Nests and Locusts is usually not something that you can reliably rely on in order to make that happen, but body soaking and symbiote soaking is definitely a pretty big thing if you're trying to keep your team in experience range and maybe even give them a bit of a lead. So now the level 10 abilities are there. Stage dive for Lauba, so he's going to be able to come in from the side. We're also having the Might of the Nerazim taken. Blessed Shield missing completely as Mopsio throws it out in an attempt to lock down Hanzo. That didn't work. Shadow Hunter has by now been completed. Arrow misses everyone. Not even close, and ETC comes in only to get attacked immediately. Gets some assistance from the symbiote though. Tai jumping in, jumping out again, and has to be slightly careful, but is not going to have too much trouble here. Gets the symbiote now too, and could try and re-engage into the battle with a bit of backline pressure. Keep in mind that now that the Blessed Shield is out, that's one of the major stuns gone. 4-0 left for another 20 seconds here. And we're already seeing Granit Gaming rotating around to see if they can maybe grab a Dragonite here. Fury gets already attacked there. It's obviously only the copy of Hanzo, so he's just trying to get some value out of it before it expires. So far, so good. 7.5 minutes in, we're now having 2 kills versus 2. And up to the top. We're currently seeing Abathur just sitting there against Lauba. Tai is trying to see if he can maybe catch someone on a rotation, on a camp, trying to, well, maybe move into one of the positions here in one of the bushes, but so far he's not really lucky with that. He can always try and proxy one of those waves, but at this time he's just simply attempting to make sure that they're getting another shrine. That doesn't quite work out, and the pressure is already on. But nothing left, they know that Zeratul is behind them, so they absolutely know that they have to really cover their flanks at this point. The water elemental comes in as they're trying to go for Henning. They can't really get him, but they're definitely putting pressure onto the keep and might even be able to take it down if there is no action from nothing left. Abathur is taking the Dragonite in the meantime, by the way. Zeratul has taken it. There's the arrow that also hits. And Abathur is already starting to do his thing, but cannot not assist anyone with the symbiote, nor with the copy. So ETC falls. Tai is looking for an opportunity, but without the Abathur head, he has a bit of a problem there as well. Greymane goes down, and Abby is still slugging it out in the middle against the fort itself. The keep at the bottom of the map is safe for the time being. Nothing left, obviously, trying to push into that a little bit more aggressively. And Tai is trying to poke from the back line, attacking minions as well, hoping to just eliminate the support for the push. Nothing left, needs those minions in order to go in. Fort is taken down, and the Dragonite will be active for another 30 seconds. Obviously, the Slugger has to make sure that he is far, far away from the opponent's team once that's the case. But yeah, nicely done here. Zeratul always poking in the back, making sure that they get the shrine eventually, and then Abathur just saying, "I'm helping!" I mean, Abathur in general is really helping. It's like an absolutely underrated hero in any lower level scenario, but now with 5 seconds on the board, the Dragonite just goes for another Fire Breath, gets the minions down here, gets the experience, and then it's just slugging his way back. So Fury is doing a great job here. And just to highlight that again, I mean, you look at Abathur, he's sitting at 11,000 damage. Not as much as we normally see, but still pretty impactful. His siege damage is obviously quite powerful here. in terms of experience that he got. And also, the death panel shows us pretty clearly that Lauber has been in the punching bag here. He is very much alone at the front line, so that's one of the things where, as an ETC player, you are absolutely exposed and you're the one who takes the brunt of your opponent's force. This is exactly what's happening in this game. He's a priority target, since he's always just in range there. And he has been punished a lot. But then again, as long as he dies and the team can turn it around and get some kills against nothing left, this is a trade that's worth making. Level 16 talents are up next, since both of the teams are on 13. And that brings us, amongst other things, now the Soma Transference, a very powerful talent for Abathur that is able to, enables you to keep Zeratul alive, enables you to keep everybody else alive when they're trying to make their plays. But it obviously also gives us things like Dire Beast. Lauber again needs to be a bit careful, slides out, walks back into the stun. Has apparently a little bit of pity with Tyrandas, and so far we've only seen 7 stacks for the level 4 talent on Tyranda. And it seems like Lauber felt bad a little bit, so at some point you're just like, yeah, I don't want to demotivate them too much, let's just go in there. Uses the ult even just to jump towards the front. This was obviously not intended to do anything else, but he wanted to make sure that he joins up with the rest of the team. Not sure if he really needed the ult for this one, but apparently the rotation was a little bit too risky. Abathur has also moved straight up to the front here until he just now burrowed into the middle, making sure that he soaks a bit more experience for them. And that should be highlighted in the numbers here as well. Yep, 8,000 for Zeratul, 7,500 experience soaked for Abathur. Roughly as much as Rexa. So pretty much showcasing exactly what we've been talking about earlier, trying to get that experience for them, and also pushing these lanes out, and especially with that push power, we're now seeing the top fort attack, and Zeratul has rotated in for it too. Starts to take that down, and he finished what Abathur started. Another attempt to pressure the bot lane. This has been the entire setup so far. Nothing Left has an incredible focus onto the bot lane, and they had it from the start. They went for this fort super early with the first bruiser camp that they took, and by now they have to keep down to half health. And in addition to that, we're seeing Granit trying to focus more so onto the top lane by now. They're having Abathur again in a position where he took the shrine. In comes Tai, moving straight down to the bottom, and they're attempting to sneak the Dragonite again, whereas Nothing Left is just in a position where they're saying, guys, let's push through the bottom, drop that fort, that keep, and see if they can maybe even get the core here. So they are just building up that pressure throughout this entire game. They are totally aware of what's happening behind them. They know that Dragonite is going to be taken soon. The problem is, once you take that Dragonite, you either have to walk back to help defending, or you don't have Abathur in a position where he can help out. And there's the copy. Fury didn't take the Dragonite. He's trying to help out with this. Arrow into stage dive. There's the slide. Feign Death on the other hand negates it for now. Abathur is still sitting in the middle, but has to help out the rest of the team. The Ancestral Healing, absolutely gold from Henning here. They're trying to go for Tai, and Tai might fall, jumps out. Abathur with the help, and he has also the speed now. The kill against Greymane. Tai just jumping around, enabled by the adrenaline boost here as well. Again, attempting to chase down Linked. Nice totem on the ground here. Linked is low. Abathur still in a position where he can easily get the Dragonite whenever. And there's the kill as Zeratul moves in again. The Dragonite by now taken. Abby, after the one fight, goes straight in for it. Mopsio's a little bit low, but Henning is also in trouble. A nice power slide here against Johanna, and she goes down, but the counter kill against the Zeratul. The Dragonite, in the meantime, moved straight into the middle and is trying to take down the keep itself. But really, really nice setup here, and good tactical decisions as well from Granit Gaming, as they waited a long time before they took the Dragonite. And they really needed to do that. Seriously, if they take the Dragonite immediately, then it's pretty much a 5 versus 4 fight at the bottom of the map in Nothing Left's favor, and they might be able to go for the core. So it was super important that Abathur was still sitting around, waiting for the fight to be over, assisting the team with the copy, with the symbiote, and then as the fight turns, they are making the choice to go for the objective and try to take down the keep in the mid lane. Which they, by the way, did not accomplish. Couldn't make it happen. They're waiting for Zeratul, and the keep at the bottom has fallen. So Nothing Left is just continuing that pressure, and they've been doing well here. Zeratul has 30,000 damage and has contributed a lot of kills in this game, whereas we're having 21,000 damage for Jaina on the other side as the top damage. Greymane himself is only on 20k. He's even trailing behind this. So it's an incredible strategic game that we're seeing from the two teams. 10 kills only, 14 minutes into this. We're now having camps taken all over the map. But again, the bottom here is important. It's another minute until the Bruiser camp is up again. And if nothing left at some point should decide to go into that play, they would move for it again. Now also important is that we are actually seeing level 19 against level 18 any moment, which means there's an entire level lead for Granit Gaming. Therefore, they will likely hit the early level 20. And that would give them a time frame in which they can go for the keep in the middle, or any other keep for that matter. They could try and go for another Dragonite, push through the top, so they would take a huge advantage there. And Tai, by the way, is playing really well around the little problem with the wormhole that we talked about earlier. So he doesn't really have too much trouble with that, for now at least. And as we're speaking, he's already trying to get some additional damage in and pressure Rexa, which so far is working out nicely. Jumps in again on 16 with the Master Warp Blade here. And they're going straight in for the top now. More pressure. Oh, there we go. Blessed Shield's done. And Henning with a Self-Ancestral. That's a good doggy. But Rega dies regardless. Rega goes down, and so will the top four. Nearly level 20 for Granit Gaming, but nothing left. Takes down their support player. And now the defense at the bottom of the map. It's a crazy good second game, honestly. It's maybe not as brawly as other games that we've seen in the tournament so far, but all the elements here with Abathar, with the Zeratul, the Stage Dive etc. are just beautiful to watch, and in particular Nothing Left's reactions and their strategy on the map is quite something. Again, they're pushing onto the bot lane for the Bruiser camp. Their camp control has been fantastic this game. And it's also being highlighted by the mercenary experience, as you can see here. They're far ahead of their opponent with 4,800 that they get through that. Minion experience, they're trailing a bit behind because of the globals that we're seeing on the other side. Talking about mid lane gets pushed right now. We're having also one shrine taken top, but here comes that pressure. Rega's going to be back any second, and Fury is going for the copy, and it gets burned down within moments. ETC jumps into the back, slides through, nice, Bullseye comes in, the level 20 with a big power spike now, of course, and we're also seeing the double symbiote right now through Abathar. Once the copy is eliminated, they're going to put that into play too, so there's no level 20, for nothing left, and they have a problem. They might have overextended a little bit here. Tai is looking for the damage against Mopsion, also against Blickitney, goes in, and they're trying to get Greymane, and Blickitney, 9 hit points, and he goes down. Eliminated by Hanzo. Tai jumping in again. They're trying to turn against him, but Tai still alive. Going for Mopsa, getting the kill against Jaina and Johanna. Apparently he doesn't like blondes. Turana goes down too, and it's a full 5-man wipe, and they get annihilated here. What a setup again. Abathar already in the middle, down at the bottom of the map. Another temple, another shrine gets activated, which means that Fury can now control the third Dragon Knight for Abathar in this game. Nothing left, pushed through. They tried to exploit the lack of Rega, but they didn't have level 20 and therefore got caught with their pants down as the extra talent gives a huge power spike to Granit Gaming, and they take the fight and take the game. Moving in and claiming victory in game number 2 of this best of 5 series before we are heading into the third and maybe even the final game of this match in the Division S playoffs. Game number 3, everybody. Could be the last one. Nothing left with a final push on Dragonshire through the bot lane. Is unsuccessful. Was trying to exploit the fact that Rega was down for a few more seconds and hoping for a kill. Problem is that the entire fight turned quickly against them, and since they didn't have the level 20 talents yet, they got caught with their pants down on the retreat, especially Zeratul hunting them down. And now we find ourselves on Battlefield of Eternity. Our third map, again the map choice of Granit Gaming here, where we're going to have a lot of brawls, and we'll see how exactly that's going to turn out for Nothing Left now. Obviously they're going to try and make sure that they are winning at least one map here and hopefully start a bit of a comeback that would lead us into map 5. I would be a fan. I want to see a 5th map, I'm not going to lie here. But Granit Gaming looks on point today. They look pretty strong. And even with Mopsio, I mean, I have to say that the last 2 games were super close, so Nothing Left was really putting a lot of effort into this and had chances in both games to win it. But a 2-0 lead in a best of 5 is always very difficult to overcome. We've seen reverse sweeps, definitely true, but it's always a huge effort to make that happen. Now, Abathur gets banned out on battlefield. We're also having Garrosh eliminated, and the Garrosh ban already is kind of targeting the same combo that we had in game number 1 of Skaia Foundry. So there's no shenanigans around Zarya Garrosh with a quick flip, let's say into a 7-sided strike or something along those lines. So Mopsio will be a lot safer on that front line, no matter how he sets that up. Tracer gets banned out against DAB, it's the staple here. But keep in mind, the one hero that hasn't been banned out right now. They didn't ban Vala. And Tai has played a lot of Vala in the past, and Vala is now stronger. Vala has been buffed in terms of the hit points that she has, and her level 16 talent, Seething Hatred, is also quite powerful if you're going for a build that is, well, can actually benefit from spell power, additional ones. And that is true for an arrow build, for example, and especially when you're going strafe on your level 10, that's also really dishing out a lot of damage if you go for that. Now for strafe, which has been picked by Tai multiple times on Vala before the patch, for strafe you have to make sure that on the other side there are not too many easy interrupts against the channel and heroic ability. And in addition to that, unless of course you have a cleanse hero in the game that cleanses you. But in addition to that, you want to make sure that there's not too many dive heroes so that you don't need the Rain of Vengeance and the additional stun for your own safety. If you're going to see Vala or not, that's something that still has to be shown. For now, we're seeing Greymane again, 3rd game in a row if I'm not mistaken. And Mopsio is playing Tyrael. But the bans keeps coming in, and I could see nothing left addressing the Vala issue now. But still, looking at the lineup at this point, Granit Gaming has a lot of options for Tai. They can put him onto Li Ming, they could put him onto Vala. We've seen him even on the offlane in the past in a hero like Thrall. Don't really think that that's necessarily what's going to happen here. But there are definitely options for him now in this game compared to some of the previous maps that were played when it came to the range damage. So Genji gets banned out. No resets there, and with Mopsio already on Tyrael and Greymane on Kidney, you have a huge amount of dive potential, jumping in with Tyrael, providing a shield for Greymane, getting the sanctification in, and Li Ming gets banned out, so right now nothing left is a bit more concerned about Li Ming just poking continuously through an immortal phase, which leaves Vala open, and it's pretty much nothing left just saying, you know what, play your Vala, we don't really care, we're going to rip you apart with Greymane, and let's see how you deal with that. And I'm honestly a bit curious to see if they head into it, and there we go. We have Arthas on the side, haven't seen that bad boy in a while, but I like it. And we have Tai on Vala. So that should provide for a pretty interesting game there now for sure. And there's a lot of immortal race potential already. You have Tai on Vala, most likely with an arrow build, and you have Swamp-Gorotta and Hanzo, so you can really burn those immortals down super quickly. And I think this is pretty much what we're going to see here. So with Greymane, you have a huge amount of chunking against the Immortal for nothing left. Ah, nice. They have Jaina behind this and Toranda, of course, for the Hunter's Mark. So they have a really cool setup too. I really like what Nothing Left is currently bringing into the battle here, but both of the teams are playing a cool style. And Arthas in particular is obviously great against Greymane since he slows down those auto attacks and controls him a little bit better, which is really important if you're trying to make sure that Greymane is not ripping your backline apart, especially Hanzo and Vala. Despite the hit point buff, it's not like Vala is all of a sudden on the tank level when it comes to her HP. And the last pick, it's Rhaegar again, so we got the lightning shield on top of that too. Ladies and gentlemen, Game 3, the stage is set. Battlefield of Eternity between Granit Gaming and Nothing Left. Game on! Granit Gaming 2-0 against Nothing Left. We have Henning on Rhaegar for the blue team, Fury on Arthas. And Arthas in particular is just awesome to see him back in the meta, and this is pretty much what the buff on Greymane has caused. So Arthas himself hasn't really seen a whole lot of changes, but it's the Greymane factor that is bringing him back into business. Now Arthas obviously has also been played in the past a lot more when Reyna, for example, started to make a huge comeback in the scene, and with the ace in the hole you had the continuous proc on the slow and the extra damage, but now he is used as a counter to Greymane and still a solid solo laner. Tai on Vala, we have Lauba on ETC, Swamp-Gorotta on Hanzo. And for the red team, Poryboss on Imperius, DAB on Jaina, we have Linked on Toranda, Mopsio on Tyrael, and Blake Kidney again on Greymane. So this is actually going to be a really interesting one, because I feel that Nothing Left has done pretty well in both of the games they played so far. They were just not able to win one of them. And it would be a shame if that series ends on the third map in a 3-0, just simply because Nothing Left has really put a lot of effort into winning these games. And honestly, I had them pegged as the victor on, especially about Skaia Foundry, a couple of times. So I would not mind this series to go 4 or 5 maps at least. Obviously, Granit Gaming has a very, very different idea there. They want to end this as quickly as they possibly can to make sure that they have a little bit more of relaxed time before they have to go into the next series here, and that they don't have to put much more effort into winning this. But for now, we're seeing a really good setup for both teams. Nothing Left has a lot of insta-kill potential, especially after level 10 when the Cursed Bullet comes again into play, always assuming that they're going Cursed Bullet here. But either way, even if it's go for the throat, they have a lot that they can do here with Imperious Stun, the follow-up from Tyrande, Jaina Blizzard damage, and in addition to that, the Greymane power-up. The only thing that we really need is Judgment of Turiel, and it would be a fun one. And honestly, you can make an argument for Judgment, as silly as it may sound, but you can definitely make an argument for it. It's very more likely that we're going to see Sanctification. It enables also Greymane to go incredibly deep in a team fight, since it is an additional layer of defense for him in the middle of the battle. So that's something that we could see there. Top side, Greymane is already putting his own power against camps into play. But as we oftentimes see this particular rotation, there's still a 4-man at the bottom of the map, and with the help of the Khazra that were just now claimed, we're seeing the entire wall destroyed within seconds. And I honestly think they are at least going to attempt to take the fountain. Tai is already nibbling at the shields a little bit. And the top lane is obviously going to attempt to make a similar trade. The issue is that Greymane, when he gets on the structures, can take them down nicely. Problem, of course, that at the bot lane, that push is already so advanced that Nothing Left has to react to it now. And that's exactly what they're trying to do. And they're pretty much getting murdered down here. I mean, that fort is nearly dead. So everybody is rotating away, 4 versus 4 now. But as all is said and done, that fort is pretty much gone. That fort is pretty much gone right there. So, for now, top side, we're having Fury in a position against Podibos. We're having level 4 talents coming in, and as expected, it is the arrow build, Puncturing Arrow now taken. In addition to that, also the Serrated Arrows. Plus, we're seeing the adjustment for Imperious. The hero was also slightly changed in the last patch. We went over this yesterday. Molten Armor now, more of a focus for most of the players here. And that has adjusted the build with a level 4 for the Sovereign Armor over the trait that we previously saw highlighted on the level 4 talent. Also, in addition to that, ETC this time going for the block party. Obviously, this being a 2-lane map, it's a bit more difficult to go for Prog here. They're trying to make the play for Jaina. DAB gets out, still a defensive position. Henning gets attacked. Wolf on Wolf action as Bleak Kidney on Greymane is trying to get the kill, but Henning survives. Bleak Kidney, on the other hand, gets taken down as the Cowgirl comes into play and gets the final shot right between the eyes of the big bad Wolf. Already, Nothing Left trying to move back here, licking their wounds, but that gives a free shot onto the Immortal now for Granit Gaming. First blood in the game. Camp has to be defended against, and the same is obviously true top side, where Fury is currently doing the job. But this is an easy push for the halftime show now. As we said in the draft, if you go for an arrow build with Vala on Battlefield of Eternity, you have Rhaegar for the Lightning Shield, plus in addition to that, Hanzo with the Serrated Arrows. You're in a great spot to get the Immortal very, very quickly. And Nothing Left knows that too. They can't race at this point. They have to try and defend a little bit more. But here come the Puncturing Arrows again, and also the continuous poke through Hanzo himself. And that's exactly what they're doing right here. Alright, let's see. At this point, we're having once again the little setup into the roots. Yeah, but they can't get that stun in. Good move from Lauba on the other hand. But they're obviously trying to defend this as much as they can while they're sending Greymane over to the right side to at least get some additional damage in. As soon as you see your own Immortal losing HP though, you know it's a 4 versus 5 if you go into the engage. But Greymane is pretty quick here. The problem is that Mopsio is low and Mopsio is down. Tries to get the counter value. Fury is about to die, and that's a kill for a kill. Still the lead for Granit Gaming on the Immortal, and they're poking again. Vala is moving in the entire time. Hanzo with another shot. Greymane on the other side getting the auto attacks in. Lauba with the attempt to go for another quick stun. They go for the Immortal. Can they go for Polyboss? Not quite. But they are able to get an additional stack for Ty's level 4. Level 7 is already here. The globes get at least caught by the red team, but they have lost the objective, and now with the repeating arrow and the Icebound Fortitude, there's a lot of power spikes in the hands of Granit Gaming. I mean, level 7 is generally speaking a really important talent. We're talking, of course, Celestial Attunement, for example, and in addition to that, we now have the Swift Retribution, which is something that Greymane particularly is going to be very happy about. There's not really a big push through the top, so that Immortal is easily defended. It's more so the bot lane that they're focusing on. Honestly, I'm not quite sure if they couldn't have gotten a little bit more out of that scenario here. But as it stands, as still 1-4 down, they're trying to knock on the door at the keep at the bot lane. Then again, up to the top, this camp is going to be taken, and they might be able to get some counter pressure against the top fort. But generally speaking, Granit Gaming is still in an advantageous situation, but they're not really ahead in experience. It's more a structure advantage that they have right now. So I think they could have maybe gotten a little bit more out of this. But as it stands, they still hold that slight lead through the fort at the bot lane. But if it was really worth it, banning that Immortal is another question. It's the early Immortal. It doesn't really do that much damage usually. It didn't really have a whole lot of shields. If you're a bit worried that your opponent from a defensive posture is going to be able to take a kill here or has a good chance at picking someone off the map, it's a different story. But oftentimes we see at least the wall broken through, sometimes even a push behind the fort itself. Not so in this case. Instead, we're having nothing left now, pushing through the bottom and trying to get right here. Lauba is already looking for another slide. Fury is already sitting at the side, and well, let's see how many they can do with that now. There's even a lead now for nothing left. Even that has currently happened. Let's see. Camps, of course, now that the Immortals are being announced again, the focus. But it's gonna be that battle for level 10 again. This is one of the reasons why in the past you oftentimes have seen Dehaka being picked on this map. Again, one of the reasons. There were multiple. But thanks to his global, Dehaka could not sit on the side lane, get level 10 for his team around the second Immortal phase quicker. And then you had a lead there. That is a bit of a grief though. DAB gets completely caught, did not expect that flank. I mean, we can obviously see the entire map here, so they just weren't aware that everybody was already rotating in, and as DAB was attempting to go in for a little bit more damage, he oversteps and gets taken out. As already predicted, by the way, we have Strafe indeed now for Vala, so Tai really loves to take the talent, and if he doesn't feel that Rain of Vengeance is needed to give him more safety, he usually picks it. And in this case, even against the Greymane setup, he just says, you know what, YOLO, let's go for it. And Strafe should really benefit from the Seething Hatred later on. They go for Mopsio, and Mopsio has to drop the Sanctification to stay alive here. Alright. Sanct already used. Water Elemental also gets dropped immediately. That didn't give him a lot of value. 10 versus 10, but the halftime show has obviously already been won by Granit Gaming, and this is now a big threat. But nothing left? I mean, hell yeah. The last one, that Immortal didn't have a lot of shields. If you lose this one with this much HP, that's a different story. Great arrow. ETC gets the Ancestral. Couldn't really do too much behind it. There's the Starfall, as Fury has also popped the army and is keeping himself topped up on HP. But everybody is just still sharking around here. Hanzo's nearly done with his quest on level 1, and Vala is getting some progress. Here comes the mosh pit, but the interrupt is there too. They're still trying to poke, but they're getting chased once again. Boss with his setup against Fury is trying to get the kill there, and Fury is low, trying to heal himself with a death coil, and Rhaegar is helping out wherever he can, but Arthas goes down regardless. Thanks to the speed advantage here from Mopsio through Tyrael, he's able to get a final hit in, and now all of a sudden that little battle turns as Blake Kidney on Greymane and DAB with Jaina are moving straight in for Granit Gaming's Immortal, trying to take that down. Yeah, the tides of the battle have definitely shifted the defensive position now for Granit Gaming as they're trying to hold on to the experience here. Getting a few more stacks in also for Tai, who still hasn't used Strafe. Has to wait for all of those stuns to come through before he even goes for the damage. Trying to get some extra damage in here. And here comes the Strafe. Gets good damage in against Mopsio. Zones them out completely from the Immortal. It's still a tight battle here, but Mopsio is low, and so are a lot of the players of nothing left. As we have Granit Gaming coming in and looking for the kill against Imperius. He's down, the arrow connects with Mopsio, but he's able to get away. Svamgrota can't get the final blow in, but they are victorious again for Immortal number 2. The shield's still pretty low. Very low shields here for the Immortal, as Granit Gaming is going for a second time up top lane with the objective to try and push through here. 15 stacks also for the level 4, so nearly completed. 5 more stacks for Granit Gaming Svala, and we're going to see the power spike with the added damage and bounces on the arrow. Level 13 talents are still a little bit away, so they're not going to drop during this attack here. Arthas is coming in from the bot lane, trying to see if he can maybe flank from behind even. And they're burning down the minion wave quickly. Here comes the army, and he's moving in against Greymane immediately, trying to control him. Fury has to be careful. Cursed Bullet already came out. Blade Kidney, Starfall is also there with a zone, and that's a good sanctification from Opsio as they're trying to turn it around. A good cleanse against Fury keeps him in play just as the stun is about to come through from Imperius. The fort is down, and the defense not quite successful. But no one died. That flank didn't yield a single kill for him. So at this point, Granit Gaming still in the lead in experience, but it's a small lead. And it's only 4 kills against 2. And if you look at the damage output right now, it's Svala with 27,000 that takes the cake here. We have 25,000 on Jaina. So DAB, despite the earlier mistake where he died over to the left side when the gank was hitting him at the fort, has taken the main damage for his team. But just look at Imperius again. Imperius has a solid damage output here now too. And this is traditionally what we're seeing from him. So he's definitely a very, very dangerous hero to deal with. And he overshadows the damage even from Greymane. So Blade Kidney, despite the fact that he's been doing a whole lot of work, has not been able to catch up with Imperius yet. But Greymane obviously has been a focus. And you could see it with Fury in particular. He moved against Greymane immediately as the fight started and tried to keep him low here. But the layered defenses that we've seen from Nothing Left, especially with that sanctification, nearly yielded the kill against the team in blue. For now, though, they are looking pretty powerful. They have both of the forts eliminated. The one at the bot lane has been taken out. And they also now just took the one top side. They haven't eliminated the fountain, though. So that's a little bit of a problem, because once that they take the fountain down, they are in a position where there is no tap anymore during the objective outside of the one in the mid lane here. And that's really an important thing. This is an absolutely important advantage if you have that. Makes it much easier for a team to just fall back, tap mana, and hit points at the fountain and re-engage into an immortal battle. So taking that apart would be quite important. But for now, we're having a push through the bot lane. They're already attempting to open up the wall. And this is a cool little rotation. Like, notice how quickly they moved back. It was just a little poke. They just went in, dropped one of the towers, made sure that the wall took a little bit of damage, and before anybody could react to it, they're immediately moving back. So it's just a little poke, just preparing for the late game, not overstaying, not overextending, just trying to get a bit of easy damage in and then moving away. Didn't cost them anything, and they were able now to take that small advantage. They now also have the Khazra camp already taken. In the meantime, we're seeing the top lane doing the exact same thing as they are starting to move in here with Bolkitni and Mopsio. But yeah, the rotation is obvious now, meeting that Shaman camp. It has been taken quite early this time, so traditionally you would try and sync it up with the objective. In this case, it hasn't happened. Level 13 now, on, at least on both sides. So with this, we're having also the Earth Shield. That's a great... It's always like one of those safety talents for Rhaegar, which allows you to get the Ancestral through. It just buys you that extra second when a hero is targeted to make sure that the Ancestral is actually going through and not coming in too late. Also, we talked about the Molten Armor focus, and that's exactly what we're seeing here now as well, with the Divine Rage on level 13. Still having no talent for Vala. Gloom is pretty traditional here, but instead he goes for the Siphoning Arrow. So no Gloom for him, but instead trying to get the self-sustain. 16 is the important one, where Seething Hatred cannot be picked if you don't feel that Manticore is going to be more beneficial to you. We've seen both talents after the recent changes in the patch. Halftime show, won by Nothing Left this time. Yeah, they're eager to finally win an Immortal here, but now it's defensive posture again, and both of the teams are an absolute eye level. I mean, seriously, it's like 4 kills against 2, but it doesn't matter. It's even experience for them, and Lauber is zoned, and Lauber is gonna die. Tried for the mosh pit here, couldn't get that through. They're going for Fury too. There's the Ancestral, but this is not looking pretty at all. In comes the Sanctification again to force them back even more. The army has been dropped. There's a camp at the bot lane. It has to be addressed eventually, but this should be the first Immortal in the hands of Nothing Left. Yeah, they are starting to turn it. Arrow hitting 4. Great for them, but it's still a 5 versus 4 here. The fight continues, and the cleanse on Vala. Tai is in a bit of trouble here now, has already used a lot of his abilities, and the Immortal gets burned down. They're poking around as much as they can, but he hasn't even completed his quest yet. One more arrow is needed for him to get that extra damage, and there it is finally, but the Immortal is taken. And as long as Mopsio doesn't fall, as long as everybody gets away here, he should be in a great spot. Swampcrawler comes in from the side, is hoping to see if he can maybe get another hit in. And so far that doesn't happen, but they're moving in again. Shields from Opsio and oh my god! 5 HP, and then RNGesus blesses Vala and gets another quick turn in against her. Now the bottom fort is gonna fall, but damn son, that arrow bounce was so important. If Pody doesn't die there, it's a different story. Can we actually burn this down before the fort falls? Nah! No. Can they? What? Oh my god, would I be pissed if I'm on nothing left. Not only do you lose Imperius just as you finally win an Immortal, but then also it gets taken down as the core has pretty much no 10 hit points left. Like, how annoying is that? Alright, so, yeah. Not great for nothing left, but again, they can go down to the bottom of the map and take that pretty much at any point in time. But yeah, not quite as good as they were hoping for. Bot lane gets now also defended as they're starting to move in again. A level 16 talents, that's going to be the big one now. Plikidney is just sitting there and is saying like, fuck that. Goes in, single hit is all that's needed. But of course, eventually they have to move back and go straight in for the top lane. The one thing that I want to highlight, I don't know if it's ever going to make a difference here, but keep in mind that with Greymane and with Tyrael, you have a huge potential to end the game quickly. If you get the two of them onto the core, they can do a huge amount of damage. Greymane with the auto attacks, and also once that the Sanctification is on the ground, you get a couple of extra seconds where you can just burn the core down very quickly. And Tyrael himself with the explosion takes roughly 5% off the core too. So something to keep in mind here. If it ever comes to a position where nothing left might sneak onto the core and try and end the game quickly, they have a really good setup to make that happen. Now, I'm not saying this is going to matter, but it's definitely something that you have to keep in the back of your head just because it could matter at some point. It's definitely a setup that allows you to think about that. No Seething Hatred, by the way. No spell power. Instead, it's the Frost Shot. I'm also worried about the control. And this is honestly something that makes up a little bit for the lack of the Rain of Vengeance in level 10. Since you can control Greymane quite nicely and you have a continuous range poke now as well. 16 on both sides, which gives us Executioner for Greymane, of course, on top of everything else. And here comes the aggression again. Arrow already coming out. Mosh Pit attempt, hitting 2, doing well here. They're trying to go for the kill. Sanctification hasn't been used yet, but here it comes, and they're trying to get the kill against Fury. And he just gets ripped to pieces by Greymane. The big bad wolf takes down the Prince. Ty zoning them again with his strafe. At this point, sitting at 39,000 damage against the 42,000 we're seeing from Hanzo. But in a 5 versus 4, all that Nothing Left is doing, they jump back, they tap the fountain, and they're saying, let's go boys, and try and force the fight right now. They have to capitalize on this now. They have to capitalize on this right now and try and take that. But at this point, they're starting to go in for the Immortal, and they definitely need this. Previously, the keep at the bot lane got taken out by the camp and catapult, so there's continuous catapult pressure now against Nothing Left. So they are in a position where they definitely have to do this. They don't have another choice now. They really have to put it all on the line here, because if they lose the top keep too, it would mean that both of the lanes are pushing against the core too easily. So at this point, you know, focus into the Melting Touch. Reka, by the way, is back to business. Arrow comes out again, misses completely. They're still forcing the fight. And Greymane is coming in together with Jaina from the side. Wall Elemental is being used, and that's a choke point. And that's not good news for the blue team. In comes the Starfall. They're trying to make the play for Fury. Where's the lunge when you need it? Strafe is being used, but Hanzo is down as DAB goes in for the kill. They're going for ETC now too. Bot lane still pressured by the catapults, but the halftime show has ended in favor of Nothing Left, and it looks like the full Immortal is going to be taken by them. A desperate attempt by Ty to at least get a few of the hit points of the shield removed is so far successful, but the Immortal is still taken. And now the bot lane, as mentioned previously, another camp with catapults has to be dealt with. Someone needs to deal with that situation, and it is going to be Tyrael, and the top lane is also pressuring. They need to try and get some momentum here. They definitely do. They took down the bottom fort, but thanks to the keep being eliminated by the push earlier, this is now a situation where the bot lane is a constant concern. And Arthas is even sitting at the bot lane, so he's going to try and take another minion wave down to put even more pressure onto this. So they might actually have to abandon the top push eventually. So starting to go straight in for this one. Having also, as you can tell right now, 42,000 damage, 49,000 on Hanzo and on Bala. Now Arthas has moved back, took a little bit of the bot lane down, and they're hoping for the catapults to turn into full-fledged minions and forcing the push, but nothing left is going to try to even go for the core. If they can get a couple of kills here together with the Immortal, they will definitely try and pull it off. Ancestral is already out, saving Lauba's ass. He has the mosh pit still, but down goes that keep. And keep in mind, Sanctification plus Greymane, the explosion and everything. That's the chance that they have, and they're going to be looking for this. DAB is in trouble on the other hand, and he gets taken down, and that's a problem. They might have to move back from this one. The mosh pit gets interrupted as we're seeing another hero fall. It's Svala this time. Greymane went in for the kill. Tyrande is also down, and the core is already falling on both sides. Shields on the right side are falling as well, but it's the left team. It's Granit Gaming who are losing a lot faster, and with the factor of the Sanctification and the Tyranid explosion, this is game no matter what happens here. This is game. This is nothing left. Taking a victory in the best of 5 and forcing map number 4. GG and well played. Game number 4, we are on Towers of Boom, everybody. Granit Gaming with the 2-1 lead against nothing left, but the red team has definitely fought back in the last one. So, well, let's see how that's going to work out. I'm honestly very happy that we get at least the 4th map. I'm really happy about this. And the last game was pretty awesome too. This Greymane action is just awesome. Greymane is a great hero to watch. He's a lot of fun to watch, I'm not going to lie. Personally, I've always been a shitty Greymane player. I gotta admit that right away. When you play Greymane, you're also very thankful if you have a good support behind you, in this case a good Tyrael that can drop the Sanctification when you need it. Especially back in the days where the Chinese and the Koreans played him a lot, it was usually with Uther and the Divine Shield that really empowered him to go ham. But if you play Greymane in another setup, especially for example in the former Hero League, Storm League or anywhere else, you usually don't get that support. And for me personally, that was always the downfall. So Greymane is an incredible fun hero to watch on a professional level, but very hard to pull off in non-organized play for sure. It's good to have him back though, it's actually pretty sweet. But now that we're heading into towers, we have Abathur banned out again. Chen gets banned too, so definitely a shift in the meta when it comes to the ban positions. The continuous ban against Tracer doesn't stop. I mean, you have DAB on one side and Tai on the other, so you already know what's happening there. This is a pretty big map, so it's one of the moments where you could definitely see Dehaka maybe make an appearance. We had a couple of Falstad plays yesterday. ETC is another option as an early pick for Granit Gaming, since they love to be flexible on the side and the main tank position. So an early ETC could happen. This is an opportunity also for Tyrande, for Henning, and yep, there it is. So it didn't really get a lot of Tyrande this series, but this is one of the moments now. It was a battle between Linked and between Henning, and Henning loves to get Tyrande for himself, but as we've seen yesterday, Linked locks down Tyrande quite reliably too if he gets an opportunity. And now that they have the first pick, this is a chance for Granit Gaming to finally lock down Tyrande for themselves there. But yeah, what else are we going to have at this point? Actually, interestingly enough, as I see it right now, Speedwagon is playing instead of Mopsio in this one. Alright, a mid-series change in your front line? That's kind of interesting. Not quite sure what exactly happened there. Tai on Greymane. After seeing Greymane in the last game, he just said, you know what, I'm actually going to do that too now. And we have Lauba on Diablo. But yeah, that's an interesting change. So Speedwagon played with them yesterday. It's, to my knowledge, a real-life connection of Podibos. And yesterday Speedwagon played with them. He was very heavily focused on either playing Anubarak or Johanna. Well, actually it's not quite true. He also played a fair amount of ETC, so I think those were the 3 heroes that he mainly played for the team. But today the whole idea was that they can play with Mopsio again. And I know that Mopsio attended a wedding yesterday. But I'm not quite sure why exactly they're switching over into their sub-player at this point. If there's some issue with Mopsio or what else is going on there. Yeah, not 100% certain. Either way, don't want to speculate too much there. There was earlier a joke in the lobby that Mobs is a bit hangover from the wedding. And if it was a good wedding, then that's definitely believable. But I'm not 100% certain if that was just a joke or if that was reality. So whatever the reason, we're having Speedwagon taking over. And he goes into that ETC play again that we already saw yesterday. But then it was mostly with Tyrande as a second stun. Blake Kidney on Falstad for the global again. And the final two picks. Grotta and Fury still need their heroes. So what are we going to get from them? As Nothing Left is obviously attempting to force game number 5 out of the series. Which I wouldn't be opposed to either. Would be a nice one. Leo. With the Space Lord. And Jaina as well. Okay. Good setup for them. Diablo and Leo, Entomb, Apocalypse maybe behind it, the stun from Tyrande, Greymane, slows on both sides. You have now Jaina for the slows, you have Leoric with the Swiffer. Well, I guess in this case it's not really the Swiffer, it's the wrong skin for that. And yeah, let's see what the last pick is for Podibos. What are we going to get from him on the offlane? Malthael, the Aspect of Death. Game number 4, Towers of Doom. Let's jump into our 4th game here at the Division S playoffs for Europe and see which team is going to take the victory on Towers. Game number 3 ended in favor of Nothing Left. That brought us game number 4, which is Towers of Doom Granit Gaming on the left with Henning on Tyrande, Grotta on Jaina, we have Lauber on Diablo, Ty on Greymane, and Fury on Leoric. And on the right side of the map, Podibos on Malthael, Linked on Malfurion, Speedwagon on ETC, Blake Kidney on Falstad, and DAB on Li Ming. I'm a little bit disappointed that we don't get the Janitor Leoric skin for Fury, but again, Space Lord isn't too bad either. I mean, you guys know why the Janitor finally came out of his Janitor's closet and was added as a hero in, or a skin in Heroes of the Storm, right? The reason is actually quite simple. Blizzard needed the Janitor's Closet to house the remaining development team for Heroes of the Storm, because they had to give away the bigger rooms. So that's why the Janitor is now in the game and part of Heroes of the Storm. So there's a little bit of trivia for you in case you weren't aware of it. But with that said, we have the aggression against Dibbles at the start. Lauber is already getting a bit punished here, but he doesn't die, so that's already an important aspect of that. No early kills this time. When it comes to the level 1s at this point, we're having also the Wingman action right now on Falstad, so you can get the pumpkin control again. We're having On a Pale Horse. Now that's actually interesting, because do you really need that anymore? This is one of these things that I personally find a little bit weird, as Speedwagon apparently is currently having still some issues. I mean, he just jumped in. Maybe some of the settings aren't really correct. So one of the reasons why you actually go for On a Pale Horse is because you want to make those rotations between the top lane and the mid lane. That normally happens on maps like Towers of Doom. It's the same rotation that Leoric will make later on. But with the recent buffs in movement speed, I could have absolutely seen a lot of the players go away from On a Pale Horse, because I really feel it's not as necessary anymore as before. A lot of the speed talents, I feel, are not really mandatory any longer if you want to soak both of the lanes, but I think time will tell. But I'm still a little bit curious if that's really a necessary talent for him in order to make that happen. Now, obviously, when they are thinking about rotating one hero from the top all the way down to the bottom for Shrine, it's a bit of a different story. But they're also the one team that runs a global with Falstad, so definitely something to watch out for in the future if Malth players are starting to move away from that. A little bit similar to what we are seeing on Urel, where you have obviously the Divine Steed on level 7, but that also has the added functionality of making you pretty much ungankable on the lane, so it's an additional bonus that you have there. Interesting is also that Speedwagon actually went into the block party, and I think that's mainly because we are seeing Greymane on the other side. This is definitely a map where through orbs or globes you should be able to complete prog rock, but if you're worried about the pressure through Ty's Greymane, then that is definitely one of the talents that will help to mitigate some of that damage and could definitely help to keep ETC alive, since ETC is going to be a priority target in those fights. Dibbles, by the way, has also made adjustments, since we are seeing Li Ming on the side of Nothing Left, and also, of course, some spell power through Malthael himself. So we have the Soul Shield on level 1, and that should help him greatly. Since Leo is taking the solo lane, we also have some self-sustain for him with Austin's Renewal. But as expected, both of the teams going for their own pumpkin camps as this is happening right there. Alright, top lane. Currently Fury is having some trouble dealing with all of this. Podibos has pushed him back already. We're seeing Blikitli down here, and that would have been a fantastic kill. If Henning doesn't misjudge the length here, that would be a pretty good one. And yeah, I mean, again, alright. No, we're not gonna go there. Either way, die alone on level 1, and we're having in addition to that also the hammer gains now with a dominance claim to Diablo already within engage, yeah, baiting that out a little bit, but there's the roots on the ground, the push back, and Lauba still surviving here. He's going straight into the souls to the flame. We've seen already Mopsio play earlier with a full focus into that, and trying to make sure that he's able to sustain himself through the entire battle on Skaia Foundry. With that said, also now the Neil Peasants, obviously. Jaina on level 4 hasn't made a choice yet. We could still see a focus into the Frostbolt, but instead it's the Arcane Intellect right away. So trying to go straight through the mana management. Oh, the kill! Malthael is down, and the bird might follow, and there we have it. Yep, good old Greymane is apparently hungry for a little bit of chicken. This is also another problem, because all of a sudden we're talking potentially about 3 altars being channeled by Granit Gaming. I mean, there's no North American team in this game, so I'm not quite sure if a 40-0 is really possible, but it feels like they're going to try. And nope, Speedwagon is going to get the channel through. So yeah, definitely going to be a little bit closer than that. So 32 against 36 at this point. 2 for 1 in favor of Granit, so a slight lead right now. 2 kills against 0. So a little bit ahead, and they're actually starting to push the bot lane even more so. Trying to see what they can do over here. Falstad has threatened Leoric a little bit up to the top. But generally speaking, the early level 7 talent, a little bit of extra pressure that we're seeing from Granit Gaming. It's early game advantages that can be equalized quite easily if you win one team fight, but generally this is a pretty nice and comfortable setup for now for Granit Gaming. At least for now. We'll see. Level 7 so far not taken, but we have the Boomerang here as expected in Calamity 2. The level 10 of course is going to be super important, especially regarding Malthael, who went into the Touch of Death also on level 7. And I mean, Malthael at this point, you can really go deep in against Diablo with kills, or against Leo if you're going for the last rites here. We've seen actually a couple of them that went into Torment Souls lately again. But still, good kill against Fury at the top side, so they're able to get another one at it, and this is the first one for them. Fury obviously is going to respawn quite quickly, but it's still a nice advantage to have that allows also Malthael to push a little bit more aggressively towards that fort now. Talking fort damage, bot lane is really getting attacked, and bot lane is the important lane on this map. If you have bot lane control, you control the 2 camps, and you can always set up pumpkins pushing against your opponent's core, which is the whole idea here. Altars are spawning in another 10. Shouldn't really become an issue for the level 10 abilities. But yep, up to the top lane, this has also suffered quite a little bit of damage. But it's a single altar for now. And there we have that already. Bit of an action here between Fury and Podibos. And Podibos is pretty much showing Fury how it's done, or that Leo is not going to be able to deal with Malthael in this situation. Yeah, there's the attempt as Granit Gaming takes position around this, but the aggression coming from nothing left pushes them back for now. Level 9 on both sides. Liming trying to get the experience down here at the bottom, has to join the fight on the other hand as they're trying to make the play for Swamgrota. Jaina low and gets away, and the minions get destroyed by the fort. An entire wave now lost, 2-0 left, and therefore a tiny bit of a lead for Granit Gaming, which would lead into an early level 10. That minion wave, as ridiculously as it may sound, matters. It matters for this altar. If you get level 10 first for Granit Gaming, you will be able to go for those snap kills, but as Jaina dies, it is not important any longer. That definitely trumps the early level 10, and thanks to the experience of the kill, they even got it at exactly the same time as their opponent. So now we have Greyman with a go for the throat, we have the Apocalypse, they try and go for another play at the bottom. Here's the Mighty Gusses, they're trying to go for Henning. Oh, and the mosh pit attempt is too late. That was a little bit desperate, but again, he has a wind-up time, the isolation on Henning, but now the bird goes down. So first we see the full-on fail with the Mighty Gust into the corner, and then the mosh pit attempt that just didn't work out. Obviously, he didn't have the power slide cooldown ready, or he would have just been able to use that and then mosh pit afterwards for the solo kill. But as that didn't work out for them, they end up in an apocalypse trap from Lauba and fall, or at least the bird falls. So now we have 3 kills against 2. But, yep. I feel a little bit bad for Speedwagon, I gotta be honest with you. That Gust could have been better. You can argue that the Gust wasn't even needed, but once the Gust is through, there is pressure on Speedwagon where he's pretty much forced to make a play. And if you don't have any of your cooldowns except for the rogue ability, then you just can only walk into the position. And the wind-up on the mosh pit just allowed Jaina to walk through, so he looks like an idiot in that situation. But it's not really his fault. I guess he could have just told his teammates, listen guys, I don't have anything, I'm not going to be there in time, and abandoned the entire play. But as it stands, it looked a little bit silly. So not entirely his fault, but obviously a bit of a little moment there. Especially since Falstad shortly afterwards dies. So we have indeed, by the way, on the top lane, now the last rights, and a problem would be if Leo already dies to Malthael. I'm saying this because Fury has a few problems holding on to that lane for them. We're having a double altar now on the map as well, so as both teams are on level 12. With Granit having a slight lead into the level 13 talent, we're now having a situation in which they could even zone this out more as their kill. Yep, there's the first stack. Mighty Gust being used too, and they're moving down to the bottom to get at least that. Getting that bell tower at the bottom right was a huge advantage for Granit Gaming, because it means that it's very difficult for Nothing Left to access the bottom altar. That's why Greyman has an easy channel there. And of course, since they are holding 3, this is also an easy lead for them now. 27 to 29. It's definitely a little bit closer than it originally was here, thanks to the last victory that Nothing Left had on the altar. But again, we are having that tiny lead for Granit Gaming and the early level 13, which gives them additional talents now as well. So, yep, for now, having the Harsh Moonlight, also the Icy Veins again, the defense at the bot lane, Bell Tower is one of the most important things right now. When it comes to stacks on Malthael, he has 1 right now, thanks to the kill earlier. And the top lane has now also been taken. So nominally we have 4 Bell Towers against 4, but as I already highlighted earlier, that bot lane control is important because both of those camps, Pumpkin Camp on the right and the Pumpkin Camp on the left, are pushing straight against the course. And if you have bot lane control, that's a huge amount of pressure. Whereas at the top lane, you only have 1 camp that you can try and use for that reason. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. And it's obviously exactly what Granit Gaming is trying to do. They're keeping the pressure on the bottom. The Gust is there, though, as they're trying to force the fight. Apocalypse comes in, and they're trying to go for the last rights, but Lauba doesn't die to it. So no additional stack for Malthael, but Diablo might still fall, and he does just a little bit later. Too late to give the stacks. The camp was also taken away, and now all of a sudden Nothing Left is moving in and starting to push straight for that Bell Tower. And if they get this one at the bot lane, it means they have the lead with a 5 versus 3, since the top lane is still under their control. There comes the Entomb. They go for Fury and cannot take him down. To run a little bit too much here, and Speedwagon on ETC gets racked as Greymane jumps in and goes literally for the throat. Another kill attempt there, especially, well, we're having a few of the heroes super low. Tyrande, one of them, and more damage from DAB as he's hoping to get maybe another hit in, but has to be careful. These auto attacks are starting to hurt. The Owl interrupts Blakidney. Leo is on the way to the top left. Malthael is already zoning and making sure that the bird is able to get the channel through, and that is indeed 4 shots against 4, since the bottom has not been retaken yet. So an even exchange again in altars, but the bottom of the map, a bit of a different story. Leo is trying to get the top lane now, but down here at the bottom, as we are seeing, this one has been recovered, and this is a huge relief now to Nothing Left. The other thing that we have to talk about, though, is the damage output. The bird with 24,000. Blakidney taking the top damage over Li Ming and Malthael at this point. Not bad, son. So, yeah, here's also the Wingman and can now go straight in for another camp, which he does. So that is going to threaten the core top side, especially if they can take Leo away from the lane. Falstad is already trying to enable that play, as you can see on the minimap towards the top. And honestly, that seems like they're just accepting it. Granit Gaming doesn't rotate anything in there, and that's 3 shots fired right here. Blakidney is sitting around, he can't believe it either. He's like, wait, really? Alright, that's a freebie right there. 3 shots in, and now we have a lead on the objective for nothing left. 23 against 22. 16 talents are also in their hands. After the inevitable end, we now also have the Soul Collector taken, and the Bird with the Afterburner. Also on level 13, Giant Killer again, despite the fact that they didn't go into the Seasoned Marksman on level 1. We've seen that build from Blickitney already yesterday with great success. There's the Gust again, as they're trying to go for a good position. Didn't quite work out for them. Triple Altar on the map. And Malthael is starting to join the fun, or at least thinking about it, moving in from the side. 16 isn't quite ready for Granit, so they're going to try and soak experience before they fight over the altars. But since there are still 10 seconds on the counter before we're gonna have the altar spawning on the map, that shouldn't be a problem for them at all. And there it is, which obviously gives us also domination. In addition to that, the Numbing Blast and the Executioner, so great talents here for Granit Gaming. I mean, huge impactful ones. Speedwagon again needs to be careful. The stun doesn't connect on the other hand, so yeah, a bit unfortunate there. Lauber and Henning not communicating that properly. 1 versus 1 exchange at the top lane with those 2 altars that we saw there. So now it's 20 against 17 points on the core. And another attempt to go for that so important one in the middle. And the last rights hasn't been used yet either. Speedwagon is looking for the mosh pit, trying to get the stun in against Lauber. That did not work out. But they're even interrupting Fury now as he's trying to channel. And it's all about the mosh pit. It's all about the last rights at this point. And keep the Apocalypse and the Entomb in mind on the side of Granit. Both of the teams still have tools where they can force a fight. And they're trying to go for the Bird. Double stun and the Owl, the kill. The mosh pit against 2 and the stun of Henning isn't ready. They're trying to get the kill in against Ty, and the last right seals the deal. Linked is low though, but can they take him? They go straight in for the Entomb. Apocalypse comes in as well, but he pushes him out of the Apocalypse. It doesn't matter though. He goes down regardless, and that's now 2-for-1 trade, and Granit Gaming gets the altar. That was a pretty insane one. I mean, Lulba pretty much single-handedly just wrecked, absolutely wrecked the Bird. Over the wall engage with a shadow charge, domination, another wall stun shortly after, and then Henning says like, even if I try, I can't miss that stun. Connects the stun, and Ty sitting next to him is like, ooh, look at that, free chicken. Goes in, takes Falstad down, and that is pretty much the beginning of the end in that team fight for nothing left. They get a counter kill, which was pretty cool, but they weren't really able to prevent more targets from dying. So now we have 17 against 17. It's a dead even game. 17 versus 17 points on the core. Same is also true when we're talking about levels. At the top, the reclaiming of the bell tower has started, and down here at the bottom of the map, nothing left is hoping to get some damage in against the structures before Greymane and Leo make their rotation. 18 is obviously going to be the next important one, but damn, this game is already intense. Also, in terms of the damage output, 33,000 right now for Jaina. Dibbles, by the way, has more damage than Greymane. Diablo has more damage than Greymane at this point. And we have 34,000 for Li Ming, who has finally started to take over the damage numbers. A little bit more than Falstad, who has been leading that charge for a long time. Malthael obviously is still working on the cooldown reduction. Has 2 stacks by now, thanks to the kill against Greymane in the last fight. That's a 10-second cooldown reduction here for him. So we have to watch out how much more he can get. Safe rotation from Malthael, as you can see on the minimap. Did not dare to walk straight through the middle, since they weren't quite sure where exactly the opponent's position. If you fall into a trap there, and it could be over within a flash. They're going again in against Speedwagon, but the save is here. Tranquility is already being used. Diablo back with a full stack of souls, and everybody is just dancing around and poking the damage out. The Water Elemental is joining the fun, and Swampcorruptor is nearly getting wrecked. Ice blocks the damage as it comes in. That's the Apocalypse. That didn't connect with anything. They're trying to go for Poti, and he survives. The mosh pit in the back is hitting 2. Once again, they get the kill against Li Ming, but where's that counter kill? They don't get it. ETC is dead despite the mosh pit, despite the setup. They just can't get a kill in. They lose Li Ming, they lose ETC, and now the bottom altar, the bottom bell tower is lost again. The altar is going to be channeled. It's going to be 5 points off the core and nearly drops nothing left into the single digits. They're going to end up on 12 points here. That team fight was exactly what Granit Gaming needed. Exactly what they needed in this game now. 12 against 17, that's where we're at, and it's gonna get worse because we have Granit already on their way to the boss, and they're burning this quickly. 18 seconds on ETC, another 10 on Li Ming. This is a given. and that will drop nothing left, down to the single digits, down to 8 points on the core. Shots are fired, and we have a big lead now for Granit Gaming. It's not only that they are ahead with this, they have level 20. Jaina with a... Alright, that Nature's Cure was actually important. Ice block, okay. Yeah, actually ice blocking... actually, that ice block was insane. I kind of missed that. It was Li Ming coming in and trying to use the wave of force to push Jaina in and Swamp Grotta like an absolute god. Dodged the... what the fuck? He actually dodged it with the ice block. He just ice blocked the wave of force that would have pushed him not only into the combo, but into the death zone as well. I completely missed the Li Ming there, but holy hell, nicely done. Great job by him. So now we have still the Buried Alive as a factor, together with the Entomb, with the Apocalypse. But 20 is at least available for both teams, as nothing left has claimed their Storm Talons as well. And that gives us now the Repulsion, having in addition to that the Wind Tunnel. And yeah, they can still try and make that play here. It's 5 against 3, and unfortunately for nothing left, the Bell Tower, the Altar, starts at the bottom lane again. So yeah, there we have again a nice approach towards Speedwagon and the kill. The Death Mosh, and well, can they get Fury at least? Yeah, and they do. Third stack for Malthael, but the bird is now down too. The bird is down. Death Mosh definitely doing some work, but Podibos has also fallen. This is a disaster. It's a double altar, guys. It's not a single altar, it's a double altar. This is gonna be game. This has to be game. This will be game. There's just absolutely no way for them to recover. There's already 2 shots fired against the core, which at this point means it's a single altar is all that you need, and Tai is already on the job. And this is it. This is Granit Gaming taking the 3-1 victory against nothing left here at the Division S playoffs. GG, and well played as Granit takes the series. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video, and I hope that you enjoyed the match and the commentary. The remaining time of the video has been added to protect against spoilers caused by the length of the video itself. But please keep in mind, though, that this does not only mean more work for me, but also has a negative impact on the popularity of the videos and the channel because of YouTube's algorithms. It would be greatly appreciated if you'd consider supporting the channel and help me to continue the daily esports coverage by clicking the join button below the video or supporting me through the Patreon page linked in the video description. Thanks a lot for the support, and see you guys next time.